Hi, welcome back to Write a Poem with Meredith Heller. Today we're going to write poems about nature objects. Now, I love nature. I go out every single day of my life and take a big hike up on the trails where there's no people. I see red-tailed hawks, I see coyotes, and I find all kinds of beautiful treasures from nature. For example, little things sometimes you see every day. I found this beautiful little seed pod from a eucalyptus tree. I just love it. I love the shape. I love the texture. It almost looks like it's painted. And if I were a tiny, tiny fairy, I could crawl inside that hole. So I really like that. And I like this seed pod a lot too. This is beautiful. I have no idea what tree this is from, but I love the shape of this. I find all kinds of beautiful feathers. I love feathers. I think about that this feather once was part of a bird that flew in the sky. I think that's exciting. Sometimes I even find shed snake skins. I think that's amazing. I really love these. A couple times in my life, I have even found whole, preserved but dead bodies of dragonflies. And I have a special affinity for dragonflies. So these are always really special when I find them. Even a shell at the beach, dried flowers, a piece of driftwood, so many things. Oh, I have something else to show you too. Birds' nests. I love birds' nests. I am so lucky. I have a few of these right now in my house that I found around my house. And strangely enough, I even think there's pieces of my hair in this bird's nest. Crazy. So for today's lesson, you're going to go outside after you watch the video or go find it and come back in and find a nature object. Hopefully something just that can fit in your hand, nothing huge. And so here are some examples: flowers, dried flowers, seed pods. I found these seed pods too that I really love. And this is going to be something that I write my poem about today while we're together. And these remind me of little mouths talking or singing. So we're going to use our imaginations. And one day I found a beautiful brown stone and I wrote this poem. So listen up. Round brown stone. Round brown stone, you were born in the painted mountains behind my mother's house under a sea blue sky. When you were 4, you had a birthday party and you learned how to roll. You've been rolling ever since. At 7, you packed a small bag, kissed your mom and dad goodbye, and tumbled down the hill. You negotiated your way between trees, stopping occasionally for a slow dip in a cool stream. At 9, you met a frog, and you learned how to jump. You've been jumping ever since. At 11, you jumped into my hand while I was walking through the woods. You were warm and smooth. You smelled like iron. You smelled like the wind. I wanted to put you in my pocket and take you home with me, but I sensed that you wanted to keep moving. So I returned you gently to the earth, where there was a view of the trees and the sky, and I walked home knowing that you had taught me about freedom. Okay? So go pause the video, go find your nature object and come back. So we'll do this together. Okay, I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so when you have your nature object, I want you to really look at it as if you've never seen it before. Using our imagination. Like I said before, these remind me of little mouths talking and singing and having so much to say, and that little tongue inside there. And I don't know if you can see this, but I just love this surface. So I'm going to use my senses. I'm going to feel the surface, and this feels kind of like sandpaper to me. And the color is like an old tea bag color inside. And like I said, this looks like a tongue, and it's a mouth without any teeth. And they look like they're talking or singing. I might smell it. Wow, these almost smell like cinnamon. So I want to smell it. I want to feel it. I want to really look at it. Sometimes, depending on what you have, you can even listen and shake it. Sometimes there's little seeds, dried seeds inside, and it's like a rattle. So use all of your senses. Maybe don't taste it. And then we'll start writing. So you've got your nature object, and I've got mine, and you know what I'm writing about. I'm writing about these little mouths, okay? So we're going to do this together. And we're going to have our piece of paper, and we're going to ask some questions. So you're going to start again by putting the nature object, what it's called, the title. So mine is going to be seed pods. Seed pods. Seed pods. And we always put our name, so I'm going to put my name, Meredith. Now, the first question I'd like you to ask yourself, using your imagination, is where was it born? Where was your nature object born? And sometimes you're going to blend together some of these categories that we're going to go through. In fact, I'm going to read them all to you first. Where was it born? What do you see, smell, feel, or hear? What does it make you think about? Does it remind you of something the way that these remind me of little mouths singing? What does it remind you of? What does it make you think about? And then I want you to tell me, by using your imagination, what's the life of this object been like? What's its journey like? Just the way in my poem about the brown stone, I told you what happened to that brown stone at all of those different ages, right? And so what's its life been like? What's its journey been about? And then finally, the very last question we're going to answer is, what is its wisdom or its message for you? So in my brown stone poem, the message, if you remember, was it had taught me about freedom, right? Because I didn't take it home to my house because it wanted to be free. So I gave it its freedom, and in doing that, I learned about freedom, okay? So for my seed pods, where was it born? Where were they born? And for my poem, I'm going to include in this line a little bit about that cinnamon smell. So I'm going to say, sassy, cinnamon, twins, right? Because I have those two of them. Born from the ears of an elephant. When the world was still green, when the world was still green. So that's my first verse of this poem, my first stanza. Where was it born? Sassy cinnamon twins, born from the ears of an elephant when the world was still green. So pause the video and write your answer for where was your nature object born. Then come back. Okay, now what do you see, smell, feel, texture-wise, hear, using your senses? And I'm gonna say, with sandpaper coats. With sandpaper coats and tea-stained tongues. Right? That's what it felt like and looked like color-wise for me. And then I say, you look like baby birds. You look like baby birds waiting to be fed. Okay, and then I say, you laugh and sing crazy songs. You laugh and sing crazy songs from your toothless little mouths. From your toothless little mouths. So this one, my answer to what do you see, smell, feel, using your senses, with sandpaper coats and tea-stained tongues. You look like baby birds waiting to be fed. You laugh and sing crazy songs from your toothless little mouths. Okay, so pause your video, write your answer using your senses. What do you see, smell, feel, maybe hear? Come back. Okay, our next one is, what does it make you think about? And you may have a distinct answer for this one, or you may combine it with some of these other questions. Tell me about its life or journey. And I think what I'm going to need to do here is start here to tell you about its life or journey, because I wrote a long poem here. So I'm going to say, you traveled. You traveled from India. Just my imagination, just what came in the pocket of a farmer. Who climbed onto a boat and sailed to America. Okay, so that's the first part of the journey of the seed pods in my made-up poetic story. I say, you traveled from India in the pocket of a farmer who climbed onto a boat and sailed to America. Okay, now there's more to the journey. I say, I'm going to do it here. You fell in love. You fell in love with an orange fire flower, bright as the sun. And I'm just going to continue here where I have tell about its life or journey. You fell in love with an orange fire flower, bright as the sun. You put down roots in California and spread your great green branches to the sky. Okay, you put down roots in California and spread your great green branches to the sky, making a home for everyone who walked by. Okay, so that's my next stanza. You put down roots in California and spread your great green branches to the sky, making a home for everyone who walked by. I forgot the first line of that. You fell in love with an orange fire flower, bright as the sun. Okay, I have another stanza. This is a long one, long poem. And this next one says, houses and families grew up all around you. You grew bigger and stronger every day. You gave fruit and flowers and shade. Okay, so I've got houses and families grew up all around you. You grew bigger and stronger every day. You gave fruit and flowers and shade. Okay, so pause your video and you're going to answer these questions. What does the nature object make you think about? And then tell me the story of its life and its life's journey. Take some time to think about this and then come back. Okay, our very last question for this is, what wisdom or message does this nature object have for you? What wisdom or message does it have for you? So my last stanza, that's the little paragraph of poetry. My last stanza says, one day a young girl who lived nearby. One day a young girl who lived nearby painted a sign and hung it in your arms. Hung it in your arms. It said, dream big! Exclamation point. Okay? So the last one is, one day a young girl who lived nearby painted a sign and hung it in your arms. It said, dream big. Okay, I'm going to read you the whole poem now. No, I want you to go write yours. Go write yours. What is the message or wisdom that your nature object has for you? And then come back, I'll read you my poem, and then I look forward to hearing yours. Okay, so here's my whole poem. Sassy cinnamon twins, born from the ears of an elephant, when the world was still green, with sandpaper coats and tea-stained tongues. You look like baby birds waiting to be fed. You laugh and sing crazy songs from your toothless little mouths. You traveled from India in the pocket of a farmer who climbed onto a boat and sailed to America. You fell in love with an orange fire flower, bright as the sun. You put down roots in California and spread your great green branches to the sky, making a home for everyone who walked by. Houses and families grew up all around you. You grew bigger and stronger every day. You gave fruit and flowers and shade. One day, a young girl who lived nearby painted a sign and hung it in your arms. It said, "Dream big." Okay. Can't wait to hear your poems. See you next time. Bye.